Hello, is my voice audible? And is my screen visible? Is everything all right? Okay, we will be starting shortly while we wait for everyone to join. We'll just give it a few minutes for everyone to join and we'll get started. For those of you who plan to code along, make sure that you have a Replit account ready. The link for Replit is in the description and also in the chat box. It will be put in the chat box very soon. For those of you who plan to code along, that is. Yes, Madhav, this session will be available on this channel, but I recommend that you code along with me so that you can ask any doubts that you have. So let's get started, presuming everyone has arrived. This webinar will be split into 4 parts. I'll be starting off with an overview of Discord so that people who are new to Discord can be on the same page as everyone else. Then I'll be showing how to create a bot account, and then what replits are, what replit is, and what repls are, and then finally we'll be coding the bot. So what is Discord? Discord is a platform that you form communities or small groups with other people on the internet. You can call them, text, etc., just like usual platforms. So Discord, there are many groups on Discord. These are basically called as servers. A server is made up of different channels. There can be text or voice channels. Channels are where all the fun happens. That's where you text. That's where you join voice channels to meet up with people and talk to people. It's where people interact with each other through their respective channels. So let me show you around Discord very quickly, so that everyone can be familiar with Discord. So this is what are you guys seeing this? So this is a sample server that I had set up so that everyone could see what Discord was. So this is a text channel, as you can see, and you can send text through it. And this is a voice channel. And basically what bots are, they are automated AIs that does commands and automates tasks for you. You can there are bot commands that you can send so that it automates tasks for you, such as welcoming new users, assigning roles, deleting messages, etc., etc. So let's get started with the main content of this webinar. So creating a bot. For this, we will need to go to discord.com/developers. Before getting into the code, we need to create something called a Discord application. So what a Discord application is, it's basically an app just like or what's on your phone, but it's on Discord. Unlike what some of you might have assumed, bots aren't normal accounts like users on Discord. Instead, these are applications. We create these applications and we make them into bots. So to create a bot application, head over to discord.com/developers. The link is down in the description and will be put in the chat shortly. So if I go over to discord.com/developers, just give me a second. Okay. You should be seeing something like this if you are on discord.com. So what this is where all your applications, where you can see a list of all your applications. Currently, I do not have any applications, right? So I'm going to be creating a new application. And for now, I'm going to be calling it my bot. All right. That sounds fine for me. Oh, you guys can give whatever you like. I hope everyone has caught up till here. You can give a profile icon for the bot if you need, but I'm going to skip that for now. And so this is basically where the application, where you can see all the details of your Discord application. Now to make this into a bot, right? There will be a section called bot. If you click on it, you can see that there's an option to add a bot. So click on add bot and click on yes, do it. So now you've created your first bot. So you can give the bot a username. We've seen many bots with different usernames. This is where you set the username of your bot. I'm gonna just give it, my bot. I'm not gonna change it for now. And you'll see that there's a section called token. This is gonna be very important going on. We'll see what a token is and how we can use it to connect to our bot. This is what we'll be using to connect to our bot. This is a secret token. We are not, you are supposed to keep it a secret. So make sure that you do not share it to the public. Right. I'll give a minute so that everyone can catch up till here. So okay, I'm presuming that everyone has reached here. So now Replit. We'll be doing all of our coding through Replit, a web IDE, and it will be hosting our bot. You won't need any extra additional software for your machine. So why do we use something like Replit? So the reason is usually when we run a code, if we close the terminal or if we close a system or if we close the application, the code stops running. But with bots, we do not want this happening, right? We always want it to run. So what we do is we host it on online terminals, which is basically Replit, Replit is an online terminal. And so head over to replit.com and we'll start getting set up. I hope everyone has made an account. I had told in the beginning, the link for it is in the description, or it will be put in the chat box section shortly. So if you've made an account on Replit by now, I hope everyone's done that. You should be seeing something like this. This is the basic interface of Replit. Replets are split into REPLs. REPLs are just basically files of code. You'll be creating a REPL for your bot. So for that, click on New REPL and click on Python. Give your REPL whatever name that you like. I'm going to give it ISTE webinar bot, right? And click on create REPL. So give it a minute. So that's set up. As you can see, I've created a REPL. Now to start the coding part. So before that, we need to add our bot to the server, right? So we cannot interact with the bot without it being in our server. So for that, go ahead to the developers portal again and click on OAuth. There'll be a section called scopes. We'll need a bot with a bot. We'll need an application with the bot scope, right? And there are many permissions that you can give the bot. Not all bots will need all the permissions that are here, right? You can send messages, connect to voice channels, speak in voice channels, manage channels, kick members, ban members. There are a lot of permissions that you can give. But for now, we're just going to give it the administrative permissions, right? There's a link here. This is the link that we'll use to add the bot to our server. So click on copy and add the bot to your server. And if you copy paste it in your browser, you'll see that there's a pop-up that comes up so that you can add the bot to your server. So I haven't showed how to create a server, right? So those of you who do not know how to create a server, in Discord, there's an option called add a server right at the bottom. So if you click on create my own, and for me and my friends, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to webinar server, right? So so we've created our very own server with a text channel and a voice channel. So if now we go here, and let me just refresh the page so that we can see that server, webinar server. If we click on it and we click continue and authorize it, verify that you're not a human, that you're a human, and yeah, that's it. You can close this for now. So as you can see, the bot has been added to your server, but it's offline currently, right? We haven't connected to the bot. Now we will connect to the bot and we'll make it come online and make it run some code. I'll give everyone a minute so that everyone can catch up. Okay, I'm guessing everyone has caught up and and has reached here at least, reached here till now. So first thing that we have to do is import Discord. Import Discord. It's a line of Python code. We'll be writing this in Python. So Discord is a module that contains all the pieces of code that you'll need and all the functions that you'll need to actually work with a bot. Right, it will have the socket connection, it will have functions, it will have the events. We'll go through all of them and we'll be seeing a lot of them. So import Discord and just run this code so that it can download the modules. As you can see, the code is being run here. So just give it a second so that it can download all the packages. Right, so this has run. So that's we've imported Discord now. So first things first, we need to connect to Discord. We need to connect to the Discord servers. So what we're going to do is server is equal to discord.client. So you don't need to really worry about this. This just starts off. This just connects, opens a socket connection to the Discord servers. So if we add that, and now once that's done, what we'll need to do is connect to our bot, right? So we're going to do server dot run, and we're going to put in the token here. You can either put in the token directly here as a string, but what I'm going to do is, so that people don't see my token, these REPLs are public, so we don't want anyone else stealing our token, right? So up at the left side, there's a option called secrets. So what you can do is give it a key called, I'm going to name it token, right? And now the value. So if we go back to our developers portal and go to bot, we'll see the token here, right? So we're going to copy it. So click on copy, regenerate it if you need to. So I'm going to click on copy and I'm going to paste it. So that's our token. Click on add new secret. So all we have to do is now we have to get this token. So for that, we're going to do import OS. OS is a module that works with all of this, and then os.get env of token. So I guess this makes sense. OS gets a secret key that has a name token, and inside the token we have a secret key inside the token which contains our bot's key, right? So server.run connects to our bot with the key that we have given it. So that so Discord has put this in place as a security measure. So just give me a while everyone does that, I'm gonna regenerate my token and replace it. Okay, so I hope everyone's reached here. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on run. Right. It might need to import something. Okay. Right. So now if we go to our bot, we'll see that it's online, right? We've connected to our bot using the Discord's API. So now what we need to do is run the code for the bot. So what we're going to do is first things first. Let me go back to my PPT and I'll show you. Okay, so things that we need, there's something that we all need to know before we get started. So to interact with the server data, Discord provides us API objects. Objects have multiple attributes that we can call. So what we're going to be seeing a lot of is an object called message. So it has attributes called ID, channel, content, etc., etc. So to call the ID of the message, we do message.id, or to call the channel, we do message.channel. Message.channel returns a channel object, right? Every time a message is sent, a message object will be sent to our code. We'll be seeing this for moving on. So we'll be seeing objects of type reaction, channel, user objects, messages, etc., etc., etc. So as we move on, we'll see each of them. So first thing that we're going to do is, as we saw when we ran the code, we did not get any visual feedback that our code was running. So we had no clue if it was running properly or not. So what we're going to do is, every single time the bot connects and the bot comes online, it's going to give us a message that it's running, that it's online. So what we're going to do is at server.event. So this calls every time something happens on the server, at server event will be called. So I'll explain this code. Alright, so every time our bot connects and comes online, it'll print on the console, we will see that it's alive. It'll give us a message that I am alive, so that we get some visual response that if our bot is running properly or not. So if we run this again, if we stop, and every time you stop a REPL, every time you make a change in the REPL, you need to stop and run it again. So if we give it a second, yeah, we can see that I am alive has been printed and our bot is online, right? So now now that we've done that, now to code the now to actually code the bot properly. So detecting a new message, that's the first thing that we're going to do. So every time a message is sent, a new server event happens, right? At server, as we saw, there was a piece of a line of code called at server event. So what it basically does, it's every time something happens in the server, it figures out what it was. So it'll figure out whether the bot got connected, whether it was a new message event, whether it was a new reaction event, etc., etc. A lot of things can happen in the server. So basically at server dot event figures out what it was and calls the appropriate function. So for detecting a new message, there's a function called on_message, and it will be called every time a message is sent. It will contain an object called message. This message will contain all the data of the message that was sent in the server. So the major rule that we have to follow is, if the message is sent by the bot itself, then it has to be ignored. So that this is so that we do not end up in a potentially infinite loop and crash our bot. So now if we go back to our code, we're going to do at server event async def message, and it will have an object of type message. So every time a message is sent, at server event is triggered, and it'll figure out, yeah, it's a new message, and it'll call this function, and it'll pass a message object to it, right? If we do print message, we can type of message, we'll see what type of object it is. And if we rerun the code, and if I type hello, we can see that the type is of Discord message.message. We won't be referring to it by its full name, we'll just be calling it a message object so that it's simpler for us. Now I hope everyone's caught up till here. I'll give everyone a minute to catch up till here. Yeah, if anyone's facing any syntax errors or anything, there's the main code given in the description. It's a GitHub repo, you guys can go refer to it. Right, so I'll be continuing. Okay, so every time a message is being sent, this code, whatever code comes under this section will be executed, right? So what we're going to do is print message. So I'm going to show you what all functions are inside the message object. So what all attributes and functions. So you can press Control plus Enter to restart the Replit code. So as you can see, there's a lot of things. We won't be even touching. We won't even be scratching all of this. There's a lot. But what we can note is we'll see author. So what this refers to is the author of the message. It will return a user object, just like a message object. We talked about user objects. A user object will point to the user who sent it. So the author will give the author of the message. There's content, message content, message channel. Message channel will return the channel that the message was sent in, and the message content will give back the content of the message. Right. So I'm gonna demo all of these. So I'm gonna do print message dot content, and then message dot author. You don't need to do all of this. This is just so that everyone can understand. And message dot channel, and I'm gonna do message dot id. And if we restart it, test, right? We can see that okay, the message content was test, right, as we sent. and the message author was us, ISTE-VIT, and message channel was general, as we sent it in a channel called general. And the message ID, every message, every channel, every user has a specific ID, has a unique ID in Discord. We'll be talking about it later on. So we got back the ID of the message too, right? Okay, now we'll be interacting with the message. So first things first, what we'll do, what we do with the message is, we basically scan the message. We take the message content and we scan through it. We can check if it starts with something, it contains something, if it ends with something, and based on it, we execute pieces of code. So what I'm going to do is, if message dot content dot starts with hello. So every time a message that starts with hello happens, it prints print message found. Okay, I don't think I need to execute this. I guess everyone knows what it is. So now we need a visual feedback in our server, right? All of this has been in the terminal. No one has none of the users of the Discord server will see the terminal, only us, right? So now I'm going to show you how to send messages into the server. So if we go back to my PPT, so sending messages to a channel, that's what we're going to be doing next. So to send messages to a channel, we need objects of type channel. This is commonly obtained by getting the channel object through message.channel. We saw that before. And or else we can, the second method is fetching the channel by ID from the server. We'll be seeing that later on. So to send the message, we'll do channel dot send of send content. So channel, and then we'll be sending. We'll have the function send, and the content will contain the content that we need to send. So we're going to do that. So message dot channel. As we saw, message dot channel will give the channel general, right? Message dot channel dot send. Hey there. Right, I'll just give it a second to get started. Right, so now if I type in hello, okay. So what await does is, this is a background process. So it makes sure that this message gets sent and does not get skipped over. As we saw that all messages, all commands that we send to the Discord API, all send commands, all of it needs await. So it basically makes sure that everything gets executed properly and does not get buried in the background. If this, if we skip out on await, we'll see a warning and it won't run. So let me try that again. Hello. So we got a response. Hey there. I'll give everyone a minute to catch up. Okay. Does anyone have any doubts till now? If you can, if you do have it with anything related till now, I'll clarify it right now. Is everything clear? Okay, I'm gonna move on. So okay, so next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna make the bot solve simple mathematical calculations, right? So what we're gonna do is, there's the eval function. I guess you know, those of you who have worked with Python know what an eval function is. If a message dot content dot starts with math, that's the command that will trigger the math that will trigger and make the bots solve mathematical equations. So what we're going to do is print message so that everyone knows what's happening. So print message.content. So what we're going to have is a function something like math um, 80 times 75, 53, something like that. It can be anything, right? So if we do this, the bot should return the answer of 80 times 53, right? So we can see message.content contains math 80 times 53. So what we need is, we can see that this is the calculation that we need to do, 80 times 53. So we need to extract this. So we're going to use string functions to split it and extract this. Those of you who have worked with Python should know what this is pretty easily, or else you can see what it is, or you can ask the doubts if you do have it in the chat box. So what we're going to do is message parts is equal to message dot content dot split. Okay, we're going to split it. We're going to split it by space. What this basically will do is, we see this string here. It's going to split it into two parts, math and 80 times 53. So 80 times 53 is what we need to extract, right? So if I do print parts, math 80 times 53, we see that now it returns a list. So this list has the first element as math and the second element as the mathematical calculation that we need to do. So what we can do is calculation is equal to parts of 1. So what does this do? This creates a new variable called calculation and takes the second element. As you know, list indexes start from 0, and and list index 1 means the second element. So it takes 80 times 53 and puts it in parts. So currently, if parts calculation contains, calculation will actually contain, if I comment it and write it, calculation will contain 80 times 53. 80 times 53. Right? Now we need to evaluate this. So what Python provides us with, we don't need to do anything. All we need to do is result is equal to eval of calculation, right? So what this does is, it puts 80 times 53 in and it evaluates it on its own. So you don't need to do anything else, and at the end of this, result will contain the result of 80 times 53. Answer 80 times 53, right? So if I print result so that we can see what it is and run the code. Okay, so what we're going to do is math 10 times 12, right? So it gives us the result 120. So what it did is, it took 10 times 12 and it split it into two parts, and calculation contained 10 times 12, and then it evaluated it and now and it printed it. Now what do we need to do? We need to return this answer back to the server, right? Now it's in the console. Now we need to send it back to the server. We need it to print the answer. So what we're going to do, just like what we did here, is we're going to do, we don't need this, await message dot channel dot send result. All right, so all it's going to do is, it's going to take the result variable and it's going to send it back. So if we restart this, just give it a second to start up. Okay, so now if we do math 15 times 20, or let's do 15 divided by 3, right? See, it returns the answer for it. Right now it's a floating value because that's how Python works, but it's fine. Math, and then we can do 20 plus 5, or we can do math 22 divided by 7. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it. So just to make it look a bit better, what we're going to do is calculation plus. Does this make sense? So it takes the calculation and it puts an equal to and it puts the result at the end. So because the result is an integer or it's a number, we're gonna cast it into a string. Right. Math 10 times whatever we want. Okay. Right one. Okay, we didn't restart it. Okay, restart it. Okay, we're going to do math 10 plus 3. So these are basic mathematics, but you can expand and do as big as calculations as you want. So math 10 plus 3 is equal to 13, right? Now it looks a bit better. So now what we need to do is sending messages to a channel that we do not have, right? Message.channel, we don't always need to send it to the same channel. We might need to send it to another channel. So what we're going to do is there are channel objects, so and we need to fetch it. I'm going to show you how to fetch a channel object, how to fetch a channel from the API. So I'm going to create a new channel. I'm going to name it announcements, right? And now to get this, if we right click, you can see copy ID. If you do not have this, you're going to go to settings and then you're going to go to advanced and you're going to turn on developer mode, right? So you should technically be seeing something like copy ID. So all messages, as you can see, have an ID. If you right click on it, it has an ID. All users have IDs. All of it has IDs. So channels have IDs. We're going to copy the ID. Right? I'm going to give everyone a minute to get till here. Copy the IDs, turn on developer mode and copy the IDs. So what we're going to do is we're going to fetch the channel. So for that, we're going to have a new variable called announcements underscore channel is equal to server dot get underscore channel. So it's going to get the channel. It's going to fetch the channel get underscore channel, and we're going to put the ID in it. Right? So if we run this, so I'm going to do, yeah, I'm just going to run this. And I'm going to print announcements underscore channel. So I'm going to print this. So we'll see what's in it. So let us stop and we'll start running it again. Taking some time. Well, let me refresh the page. Okay, it did not get saved. So we're going to do announcements. We're going to do that again. Announcements underscore channel is equal to server dot get underscore channel, and we're going to give it the ID. We're going to do print announcement underscore channel, right? So we're going to print the channel. We're going to see what the channel holds. We're going to see a lot of data from it. So we're going to send a message. If this has started. Okay, yeah, we have to await this again. There's some sort of error. This Okay, so we're gonna send a message. Hello. It's not defined. Announcements, like typo. This has, okay. Right. So as we can see, the announcements channel returned. It fetched it on its own by using the ID, and now it's pointing to the channel. So we can send messages to that channel. So what we're gonna do is, if message dot starts with announcement, announce, like announcements. So announcements is a channel object, right? So we're going to do announcement underscore channel, announcement channel, and we're going to send something to it. We're going to send dot send. This is an announcement. It's just for now. We'll expand it later on. So in general, if we do announce, it should be all right. Await. So all these send message, all these send commands should be awaited. Make sure that you do that. Announce, and if the bot is running, okay, the bot isn't. Okay, right. Announce. Starts with, okay, message or content starts with, right. Message is the object, message object, and we need message.content. Announce, right. So as we can see, a message to the announcements channel has been sent, right? So every time we see a command called announce, it'll be sent. So I'm not going to expand on this further. You can take the message content and then you can split it, and then we can do something like announce something, right? You can take it just like we did here. We can split it into two parts, and then just extract the something part, and then we can send it. You guys can try that on your own. It's exactly like you did how you did this, but then instead of doing an eval, you just send this part back. All right. So now we're gonna move on. We're gonna see how to detect reactions, right? So if I go back to my PPT, does anyone need time to catch up? If anyone does, right, I'm gonna move on. So if you do have doubts, just put it in the chat and I'll do my best to clear it. So detecting a reaction. So just like what we did right now, like on message, what we use now was the on message function, right? So there's another function called on reaction add, which will be called every time a reaction is added to a message. So it will contain a reaction object, and the reaction object will contain a lot of details, like the user who sent it, the message which the reaction was added to, the channel which it was, etc., etc. And we can use it to execute different functions, right? So what we're going to do is, so there's something called message cache. So on reaction to add will only detect messages that are in the message cache, and the message cache will contain messages that are sent after the last restart. So every time we restarted our code, like we made a change, we stopped it and we started, that's a restart. So the message cache will be cleared. So a message cache will only contain messages that are sent after the restart. So we will do that and we'll move on. So every time we restart it, we need to make sure that we are sending some message again. So now, just to notify users, every time the bot is taken offline and it comes back online, I'm gonna make it send a message to announcements channel. Send. Hey, I am back online, so that people know that your bot is back online in case it goes down. Right. So now what I'm gonna do is server. I'm gonna define a new event for the server. Async def on reaction underscore add reaction. Right. Okay. So now we have a reaction object. I'm gonna print this. I'm gonna do print type of reaction. Just give it a second. Okay. Right. So we have a new message. Hey, I'm back online. I'm gonna add a reaction. I'm gonna react with an eye. So wait. Okay. Yeah. It has two objects. I miss this. So we have two objects: the reaction object and the user object. Right. So what we're gonna do is. So we have a new message. Right. So as we can see, it's an object of type reaction again, right? So we're not gonna refer to it like usual. We're not gonna refer to it by its full name. We're just gonna call it reaction, right? So to get the reaction, we're gonna do print reaction dot emoji, or print reaction also works, but print reaction dot emoji is more readable. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for the message to come. We're gonna react with something else. Right, see, now we have the emoji. Now depending on the emoji we can make the bot do things, right? We're gonna do if reaction dot emoji is equal to this. Okay, yeah, if it's this, we're gonna do something. Now we're going to execute a piece of code. So what I'm going to show you here is how to PM a user. So I'm going to do user dot send message, and then we're going to say, hey, welcome to our server. Right? So this should make the bot send a message to the person. So I'm going to do await. So every time someone reacts with the thumbs up emoji, it will PM the person and tell them, and you'll welcome to them to the server. So if I do thumbs up, should. Okay. So what happened right now is it's not a user object. We're going to skip this for now. So if it's a thumbs up object, what we're going to do is instead we're going to skip to role assignment. So we're going to fetch a role. So every time someone reacts with a thumbs up icon, it's going to fetch a role. So to fetch a role, what we're going to do is role is equal to discord dot utils dot get message reaction. I'm going to explain this code in a second. Reaction dot message dot guild dot roles comma name is equal to something, right? So what this basically does is it calls the Discord API again, and it navigates to the reaction that was added. It navigates to the message, and then it navigates to the server. Guild and server is the exact same. So in the backend, a server is called as a guild, and in the UI, it's called server. So basically, guild and server is the same. You can just replace it with server, and it'll still be the same. You can think of it as server. And we're gonna find roles, right? So we're gonna create a new role. So for that, let's go to server settings, roles, and we're gonna create a new role. We're gonna name it techie. Save changes. Right. So we've created a new role. Right. There's a new role called techie, and we need to give our bot permissions to add these roles. So we're going to give it permissions and manage roles. We're going to save changes, and that's about it. So once that's done, we're going to print the role. We're going to name it. What was the name of it? It's called techie, right? So it's going to fetch the role by the name techie. I'm going to do print techie. Print role. The reason I'm skipping on PMing users, it's a bit more complicated and we're kind of time constrained. So has everyone reached here? I'll give everyone a second to reach here. If there are any doubts, you can ask it in the chat. Okay, I guess everyone's caught up till here. So we have a new a message here, and I'm gonna react with the thumbs up. Right? It should, I see it returned the role and it printed the role techie. Right? So it has fetched the role. So now we need to assign the role to someone. So what we're gonna do is user. So the user object is from here. The user object will contain data of the user who added the reaction. Right? So user dot add underscore role of role. Right? So it adds the role that we fetch from the Discord API. And I'm gonna wait this. Right? Add underscore role member object. Okay, so what's wrong with this is I presume that the member object that we're getting in from here from the Discord API is not what we need. So I do not know why this error is coming. So okay, we're going to skip out on this, and we're going to do deleting the message, deleting the reaction dot delete. Oh wait, we're going to just delete the reaction. Oh wait, reaction dot delete. Right. So we do not need that reaction. So that's how we delete a reaction. Message dot, or we can do if this does not work, we can try message dot reaction dot delete. Reaction has no, okay, right. The reaction underscore add has some errors. I do not know why. It should work, but it's not working. I guess the Discord API is different, but okay, let's move on. So I'm not gonna be going ahead with the on reaction add. I'm gonna skip out on it. So okay, so now I'm gonna show how to delete messages. So if message dot content dot starts with, so we're going to give a keyword here. So I do not want the word purple in my server, right? So if I'm going to do that, if that happens, I'm going to do await message dot delete, right? So all it does is it takes the message and it deletes it. So in case it does contain purple, or if it starts with purple, right? We can replace it with whatever keyword that you have, right? So you're gonna have so I'm gonna send purple, so it got deleted, right? So what you're gonna do is we're gonna create a list of keywords, right? Keywords, I'm gonna name it purple, and then something apple, etc. You can have as many keywords as you want, and then I'm gonna do I'm going to scan through the list for I in keywords. If I in message dot content, right? It's going to delete it. So that means any message that contains the word purple or contains apple will get deleted. So this can be used for pretty much moderating the chats, etc., etc. Right. So what I'm gonna do is something. I'm gonna restart it. Let me restart. This is purple. So it got deleted, right? So that's how you delete messages. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna warn the user. So await. So in case the message does get deleted, await. We're gonna announce it. We're gonna do announcements channel dot send a message by by we're gonna leave this blank, has been deleted. So how do we tag the user? So how we tag the user is message.author. As we saw at the beginning, we have an object called message author, right? It's a user object. So what we're going to do is we're going to mention 0.mention and then we're going to format it dot message dot author format. So what it basically does is it fills in the author of the message in here, right? So 0.mention, so this is the first mention that we need, and it's going to mention the author of the message. So it's going to announce it. So if I do apples are purple, right? We do not in case we do not these contains keywords that we do not want in our server. So what we're going to do is it announces it. A message by ISTE-VIT has been deleted. So that's basically it. Are there any doubts till now? The attendance form for the webinar has been given in the chat. So do we have everyone? I'll give everyone a minute before I move on. The attendance form, please make sure that you fill the attendance form. It's in the chat. You guys can read more about this. There's a lot of functions that I haven't covered, but I have covered the most important function, that is on message. So you can mess around with a lot of this. You can make it, you can call APIs, you can get JSON data from different APIs, and you can make it display a lot of stuff. There are a lot of bot ideas like a Reddit bot, music bots, etc., etc. There are a lot of bots, right? So you can try making your own bot. There are a lot of ideas. Does anyone have any more doubts? So please make sure that you fill the attendance form. So if anyone, if no one has doubts, so we'll be nearing the end of our webinar. Okay, so I guess everything here till now has been clear. So now we need to keep the bot running. So so the thing is, REPLs stop with 5 minutes of inactivity. So every 5 minutes, if we leave it alone, if we close this browser and if we leave it for 5 minutes, there's an issue that it'll stop working. It won't run. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep it running. So we need so there's a Flask code that hosts this bot. So the Flask code, it's in the description, and it's also in it'll also be put in the chat box section very soon. Right? So if you go if we go to ISTE-VIT's GitHub repo, it'll be available there. I hope everyone has got the code. So this is basically the code that we'll be need. So the code. So this is basically the code that we'll need to work with, right? So what we're all we need to do is copy this code, okay, and then create a new file called keep_Adeel. Just go ahead and create this file. Right? So this is not related to Discord. This is just hosting a Flask server. This is just creating a Flask UI, and it's gonna host it. Right? So just give it okay. Keep alive.py. Okay. Right. So yeah, this is the Flask code that we'll be using. So we need to import this function. So you don't need to worry about this code in case you do not know what Flask is or have not worked with Flask before. So this is the function that we'll need to use. Right. So what we're going to do is import from keep_alive. We're going to import that function. Import keep alive. Right. And just before we start, we connect to the bot, we're going to do keep_alive. Right. Has everyone caught up? I'll give a few seconds. right? We don't know sockets. Okay, right? So from keep alive, import keep alive. So what it does is from this file it imports this function, right? So and we are gonna call this function. So what it's gonna do is, right? So let it run. So because we are importing Flask, because it needs to download a few modules. So while that's being done, go ahead and make an account on Uptime Robot. The link for it is in the description and it will be put in the chat very shortly. So Uptime Robot, Uptime Robot. Right. So if you've made an account on Uptime Robot, I'll give everyone 30 seconds to make an account on that. So while this is being downloaded, while the module is being downloaded, just make sure that you have an account on it. So this should be your dashboard if you made an account. So what you're going to do is you're going to create that. Right. So now that the code has been launched, so you'll see that a browser window opens up in the right side. So this is the URL to your REPL. Right. It hosts this Flask code hosted your bot, and it's now it gave you a URL. So that this REPL does not go to sleep, we're going to ping it. Okay, so that it's not inactive. So every 5 minutes is for 5 minutes of inactivity, the REPL will go to sleep. This is not what we want, right? So what we're going to do is add new monitor. So this is Uptime Robot. I hope everyone's here. So and we're going to create a new monitor. We're going to create HTTPS type monitor and give it a friendly name. This is just so that you can identify it. See right here, I have a webinar. I have a monitor called Webinar Bot. So I'm going to give it a name called something. ISTE webinar. So it doesn't matter what you give, and you're going to give the URL as what you copied from here, right? This URL. If you paste it, and every 5 minutes you're going to ping it every 5 minutes. So you don't. This is not compulsory. This is so that in case your bot does go down, it will alert you, so that you can get it started up again. Right? Create monitor and create monitor. Right. So this will start pinging your website. This will start pinging your Flask server. So you should see that every 5 minutes you'll get a notification like this, but it doesn't matter. So it keeps pinging it. Now your bot will not go to sleep, and it'll stay alive. Right. So that's it. That's about it, I guess. I'll be wrapping up. So what we learned till now, we learned how to create a Discord application. We created REPLs and how a Python REPL works. We connected to the bot using the env key. We saw the token, and we saw how to send messages in server, how to send messages in specific channels, and how to scan messages. And server reactions. We saw how to detect reactions, although we could not assign roles. And we saw how to host the bot and use Uptime Robot to ping it every 5 minutes. Right? So that's it. Does anyone have any doubts? If anyone does, so you can feel free to get in touch with me. We can work on bots together if you need. I'm very interested in making bots. So if you have any ideas, if you have any doubts, please feel free to ping me. So these are my socials. You guys can ping me anytime you want. And we will ISTE will be having many webinars just like this every week. So keep up with ISTE using our social media handles. If we close the Replit tab, the bot will stop. Yes, but so this is a doubt. Yeah, it will stop. So that's why we launched the Flask server so that it does not stop and we ping it. Right. So does anyone else have any more doubts? Okay. Thank you guys for joining. I'll see you around. Bye bye.